Alrighty, folks. We got our first gun wall review today for the Remington 597 N22 long rifle. So, let's start at first with the specs. Remington claims this to be the most advanced 22 long rifle, auto-loading 22 long rifle ever made. This is what they claim on their website. And it does have some interesting features. Let's start first with, it is in fact clear. So, as you can see, it is clear. Now, first let's talk about the mag in it. It does have a really nice little mag. These are 10 rounders. And they seem to be cast out of some type of aluminum or pot metal of some kind, but they feel very sturdy. And they do have some bigger mags available. I'll show you that in just a second. But the first feature on these is it does have a round last round hold open, and it sticks. And of course you can remove the mag and it holds, pull back, and it's good to go. So we'll leave that cleared. Now, this is I believe a 50 rounder. I haven't used this yet, but this is made by Remington, and it does say that it is for the model 597 N22 long rifle. So I assume that it would work just fine. Usually when a company makes a magazine specifically for their firearm, you don't normally have too many problems out of it. Now, some of the other specs, it comes with a 20-inch long high carbon steel barrel that is free floated actually. You can fit a dollar bill in there freely. And another thing that they say that makes this rifle accurate and advanced is they have some kind of special locking feature between the barrel and the receiver for a very sturdy lock. I'm not sure what it is. They don't go into specifications. I have not taken this gun apart yet. Another thing that they claim is it has a nickel Teflon coated sear. And I'm not sure what the process is behind how they coat this. I assume it's just probably your basic electrolysis coating for the nickel, and then some sort of coating for the Teflon. And it's said to advertise for a clean, crisp trigger pull, which I do have to admit does have a very nice trigger pull. Another thing for this rifle, it does come with a factory 3x9 scope on it, made by Remington. And it's not a fantastic scope, but it's not a bad scope. If you're going into it buying it straight out and looking just to do some planking, rabbit hunting, or something for your kids, that's a good start. I have not range tested this rifle yet for accuracy. I'm not sure how this scope would do out at 100 yards. But it is a good scope. It's got nice clear reticles in it. Another thing I do like about this rifle is, well, first of all, let me talk about I do like the location of the mag release, and it is supposed to be a drop mag release. So you pull it and it drops. So that is really nice. I do like that. Another thing that I do like about it is it has a twin guide rail for the bolt on it. So instead of like on some Marlins, older Marlins and stuff. I don't know if you can see that. Where it's the bolt is riding inside of grooves. This has two twin guide rods that go into the receiver to actually guide the bolt back and forth, and that does make it feel very sturdy and very smooth. That might be one of the other things that contribute to its claimed accuracy. Now these are going. Now they do have a couple different models of these, and they are going between 200 and 249. I believe this model right now you can get right at 200. And they got a few other ones. They have a bull barrel version of this, and a couple different stocks with different skin patterns on it, and some varying ranges. Now, where was I at here? Now, the other thing is the buttstock on it. It is just your basic plastic buttstock. Not that you need a nice soft buttstock. It is only 22. Firing it is actually really nice. It does do rapid fire flawlessly. I've never had a jam in it, and I've used CCI, Federal, and something else. Let's see, what was these here? I think something else. What else did we shoot through this? No, so far it's just, oh yeah, Winchester Super X is what we also shot through it. Now, it's got a 14-inch length of pull, which is good for people with shorter arms that need a shorter length of pull. I'm a little on the short side, so it's comfortable for me, but it's not so short that it'd be uncomfortable for someone with a longer reach. It does got a nice finish on it. It almost looks like the receiver is parkerized or something, or maybe some kind of painting, but the barrel is just your classic matte rust blue finish. Another thing I do like about this stock is it does feel very sturdy. You can't really flex it or anything like that, and it's got this nice kind of precision shooting stock on it. It'd be real easy to add yourself a rail down here if you wanted to add a bipod to it. Now, let's talk about the shooting. The range, the experience I've had with it so far has been out rabbit hunting. We took it straight out when we got it from a family member. We didn't know if it was sighted or not. Took it out, just shot at a can a couple times to see if it was close, and it was already sighted in for us. And it does shoot very crisply. Like I said, I haven't range tested to see how good its pinpoint accuracy is, but I do know standing, it's pretty accurate. Now I do got some footage I'm going to show here after this clip here of some shooting at a still plate. I think I do a total of about 17 shots, and it has no problems whatsoever out of it. It doesn't have a super quiet report. Some 22s you get, and you shoot them and they're louder than others, and some are quieter than others. I've had a old 1930s Marlin that sounded like a pellet gun, and for no other reason I could think of, it just was quiet. This one's about average for a 22. And a lot of that comes down to the barrel harmonics and, of course, what ammunition you're using. If you're using subsonic, obviously it's going to be a lot quieter. Where we're going to go here with this. The safety, basic 22 rifle style safety. Nothing too special there. Now, this was a nice function on the pistol grip here, a nice little addition. They didn't have to add this. They didn't have to add this little Remington inlay here on the base of the pistol grip, but they did anyways. They could have just had this all one solid cast piece and sent it out, and that been it. Okay, one more thing that I found really weird. I did a lot of research, and Remington on their website does not advertise the barrel twist rate for this rifle. And the research I've done online, a lot of people seem to be conflicted. Now, I've read that some other stores, such as Walmart, that sell this, Academy, and Dick's, advertise a 1 in 9 twist rate, which is very high for a 22. Normally, for a twist rate that high, you're going to be trying to stabilize real light loads. Now, my research also showed some people talking about that they've measured it themselves, and it has a 1 in 14 twist, or 1 in 14 and a half twist. Some people say the Walmart measurements is correct. It is a 1 in 9 twist. And then some people say that it is a 1 in 16. The research I found, I could not find any conclusive, believable source as to it. But everything that I've read and that I've seen says that nobody's had a problem with stabilizing any type of ammunition out of these rifles. So, unless you measure it out yourself, I'm not 100% sure. To be honest, that's not really my specialty. I don't know how to measure the twist rate. And to be honest, as long as it shoots good and doesn't give me a problem with any of the ammunitions, then it doesn't matter that much to me. Like I said, this rifle is mostly just going to be used for rabbit and probably quail. I'll probably use it for quail. And I might set it up with a bipod and maybe do some planking with it. But it's a very good shooter. Doesn't jam so far that I've seen out of any ammunition that we've used to it. And it's smooth, smooth, smooth. Now I'm going to go ahead and cut away to that footage of shooting. I'm shooting at a still plate, probably, I think about 30 yards away. And I have the still plate set up at an angle. And I'm doing it from a standing position, and it is actually kind of windy, pretty breezy outside, so you're going to hear that wind. Now, up on one of our next gun review videos, I believe the next one from the gun wall we're going to do is going to be my 1911 Mauser that I recently got done pretty much restocking and restoring. It was given to me as a bolt action, and there's going to be a lot more information on that gun when we get around to that. I'll probably do that towards the end of the week. Now let me get to that footage, and I'll cut back to you a little later on. Alrighty, we're back from that shooting footage. Let's get into some final impressions of the rifle. First of all, you pick it up and it feels very solid and sturdy. I like it. It's actually heavy for a 22. I got this little Savage single shot here, and it's pretty light. But it feels hefty. It almost feels like it's a full caliber rifle, and I believe that's because of the stock is actually really sturdy and heavy made, and of course the barrel is a little thick on it. I do like it. I do like the way it shoots a lot. Only thing that I would change on it right now as far as the functionality, aesthetics, is the charge handle here is plastic, that I can tell. I would have liked this to have been metal. I feel like if you drop this gun just right, you would break it. Is it plastic? You know what? I actually can't tell. No, actually, that is metal. It's got a very composite-y feel to it, but it's cast. The cast steel. It looks like. I take that back. I actually kind of like that. I do like it. Would like it to be a little sturdier in here. It is a little loose filling. Now I did see online they do make an aftermarket billet aluminum trigger for this rifle, which I didn't read up on it specifically what it was supposed to improve, but I assume it's going to be a lighter trigger pull, and maybe it's milled a little more precise, because when sitting in safe, there is a little bit of slack inside of the trigger, so it might be milled to be a little bit tighter fit, and keep that look more crisp. Now, something I forgot earlier, it is actually drilled, the receiver is drilled and tapped for a Weaver or Picatinny style rail to go up on top of the receiver, so you can use bigger scope rings. This one here, it's got just the basic kind of dovetail on it that you find on a lot of 22s that this scope is mounted on. We may put a better scope on it, but for what we're using it for, there's not really much of a point. It's only a 22, it's only got a limited range, and we're only really shooting at rabbits and quail with it. So we probably won't do a better scope on it. It shoots very well, and from what I can tell, it is going to be a very accurate rifle. All the shooting that I've done has been from a standing position. None of it's been supported. So I assume that actually supported on a bench, this rifle will be very, very accurate with the right ammunition. And of course, it would take a little bit of time to figure out what ammunition works best in it. Every gun kind of has its niche. And of course, with the inconclusive information on the barrel twist weight, it'd be a little harder to find out that what the preferred grain ammunition to be for this rifle. And of course, you never know, sometimes it may just like a heavier bullet, might just like a lighter bullet. But we'll get into that a little bit more. We'll do some range footage of this video somewhere down the line for this gun. Overall, for 22, I've had a lot of 22s in my life. My first one was I believe it was a Winchester. I can't remember what model it is, but it was a 2-fed Winchester Wagon Trail Edition. And I love that gun. I had it for a long time. I think my dad bought it from a friend for like $19. I had that gun when I was 9 years old. I had that gun for a long time. And then, of course, I've had, I bought a Marlin. I can't remember the model number on that. I want to say 9 something. 908, I think. That was made in the 80s. And I did like that rifle a lot. The stock was really cracked on it. I paid $119 for it. A little high, but, you know, pawn shop prices. And the stock was trash on it, so I said, well, you know what, I'm just going to sniper it up. And I ended up putting I fixed the stock and I bedlined the stock because I was going to stain it, and the stain ended up bad, and I was like, well, screw it, we're just going to bedline it. And then I made a universal quad rail, I think for an SKS fit on it. And it actually came out working pretty good. And I had a bipod on it, and I fitted a muzzle brake from I think it was a Ruger 1022, and it actually looks pretty good. I'll put a picture here in the video of that rifle. And that thing actually shot really, really good, and I believe that was a 1-in-9 twist rate micro groove is what I think when it was advertised. But Marlin always liked their micro groove rifling on their barrels. But anyways, back to this rifle. I've had quite a few 22s rifles, and I've shot a lot of 1022s. And of course, you know, I've shot this single shot here, and a few others that I can't recall, specific. And I have to say, as far as this is actually the only modern rifle that I've ever shot as far as a 22 besides the single shot, and I really like the way it shoots. It shoots smooth. It doesn't. The older Marlins that I've in the old Winchester I shot, when it cycled the bolt, yeah, you could. After age, the bolt seemed to rattle a little bit. You could just kind of just feel it. You felt the age. This one here, it's new. It feels very solid. And I like it. I honestly do like it. So, I'm not going to do a star rating on this gun because I have not had range time with it. And to be honest, I've only shot it a couple times rabbit hunting. So, do I like it? Yes, I do like it a lot. I'm not going to do the star rating on it. I might later on when I do an actual range video test with this gun. It'll give me a better idea how I really feel about its accuracy. But it is a nice gun. If you've got $200 to spend, you're looking for a nice, really nice little 22 to either plank with or hunt with, or just to get your kids into it. Now, I always say if you're trying to get your kids into shooting, it's always, I always recommend, say, you start with Nerf gun, airsoft gun, BB gun, pellet gun, and then a single shot bolt action 22. And, that kind of gives a full range of building up to, what, not only what it's capable of, but, the respect for it. But if your kid's already past this rate and they're looking to get them into a auto-loading semi-automatic 22, I would recommend this. I'm not a big fan of the 1022s. I have to say this is a much higher build quality than a 1022. Now, of course, you can get some of the higher end, expensive 1022s that have good build qualities, but this one's actually really nice. So I would recommend it if that's what you're wanting to use it for. Just an all-around nice gun. So we'll get back to you. I'll post that picture in the video with the with that old Marlin that I kind of bastardized. It looked cool though, but I bastardized it, to be honest. And I actually ended up trading that rifle for a Yugoslavian SKS. I traded that rifle as is in the picture with 500 rounds of 22 long rifle. And I think the only reason that I managed to get that SKS out of that deal was because it was in the 22 long rifle shortage back a couple years ago, and I had 500 rounds that went with the rifle, and I think it was probably the main reason I got the SKS, but I kind of weaseled my way out of that deal. But like I said, next one we're going to do on the Mauser. And I'll talk a little bit on that. I haven't got range time on that, but I have shot it, and it shoots nice. So we'll see you again on that one there. And I think after that, I think we're going to do the Mossberg Goose Gun. Yeah, I think that's where we're going to go after that. So, keep tuned for those two Gunwall videos. And, of course, here this weekend, we're going to be going crabbing for another hunting adventure. Hopefully this one doesn't fail. But we'll get us some crabs, I know it. But stay tuned, and I think I'm going to do a quick tip here in a day or two. And I might get that Mauser one in a day or two also. So stay tuned. Always check us out. Subscribe. Hit the little bell. You got to hit it twice. Otherwise, I won't show up in your news feed whenever we post a new video. And check us out on Patreon and some of our other media platforms that I can't quite say at the moment. YouTube's being real funky with a lot of stuff. So, but I'll always put those links down at the bottom, and we'll see you next time.